Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we unpack the secrets hidden in plain sight within company filings. And today we're diving into the Federal Home Loan Bank of Atlanta's latest report. Get ready, because sometimes the most interesting stories aren't in the flashy headlines, but in the quiet numbers. You won't want to miss what this bank has been up to lately. Before we dive in, if you are tired of corporate jargon and want clear, no-nonsense financial insights, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you want to join a community of fellow finance enthusiasts to discuss these findings, our Discord is linked right below in the description. Alright, let's get straight to it. It is late October 2025 and the Federal Home Loan Bank of Atlanta, an important player in the housing finance world, has just put out its report for the quarter ending the 30th of September. Now, these reports called Form 8 case are crucial because they tell us about significant events happening with a company, especially its financial performance. The big ticket item here is the financial results for the third quarter of 2025. The bank issued a press release which is included as part of this filing detailing how they've been doing. Think of this as the bank's own report card for the last 3 months. While the full report isn't directly in this document we're looking at, the announcement about it being filed triggers this disclosure. But that is not all. There is another key piece of news from late October. The board of directors, the folks in charge of making big decisions, decided to declare a dividend. This means they're distributing some of the bank's profits to its members. And this dividend is set at an annualized rate of 6.60% for the third quarter of 2025. An annualized rate means if this rate were to continue for a full year, that is what you would earn. A 6.60% dividend is a pretty solid return, especially in the current economic climate. It signals that the bank is profitable and confident enough to share those earnings. Now, the real juicy details, the actual numbers that tell the story of their financial health, are in that press release. Unfortunately, the filing itself doesn't embed the entire financial table here, but we know it is attached as Exhibit 99.1. In these kinds of filings, these press releases are where you find the specifics on things like their assets, liabilities, earnings, and how they're performing against previous periods based on the context. This press release would likely confirm the profitability suggested by the dividend declaration. We'd be looking for things like net interest income, provisions for loan losses, and the overall equity position of the bank. A strong dividend usually means they've had a good quarter, perhaps with strong loan origination or investment returns, and managed their expenses effectively. What we can infer is that the bank's core business of supporting housing finance through lending has likely been robust. This is the Federal Home Loan Bank of Atlanta, often referred to as FHLB Atlanta. These banks are not like your typical commercial banks where you have a checking account. They are government-sponsored enterprises that provide funding to member financial institutions, primarily for mortgages. So, when FHLB Atlanta does well, it means the banks and credit unions that borrow from them have more funds available to lend to individuals and businesses, especially for housing. The report is signed by Haig H. Kazazian III, who holds a very important position, Executive Vice President and Chief Financial Officer. This tells us that the company's top financial executive has reviewed and approved the information being reported. It adds a layer of accountability to the disclosures. He is essentially the guardian of the bank's financial integrity, and his signature on this document means he stands behind these numbers. Now, let's look at the bigger picture beyond just the numbers. The Federal Home Loan Bank of Atlanta plays a vital role in the US housing market. They are a source of liquidity for banks, meaning they provide the cash that banks need to make loans. In times of economic uncertainty or when interest rates are volatile, institutions like FHLB Atlanta become even more critical. Their ability to consistently pay dividends, like the 6.60% one we've seen, suggests they are effectively managing their risks and operations. This stability is good news for the housing market and for the millions of Americans who rely on mortgages. Considering the financial context, a 6.60% annualized dividend is quite attractive. It indicates a healthy spread between the cost of their funding and the income they generate from their lending and investment activities. This could point to a strong demand for mortgages, favorable interest rate environments for their lending products, or efficient management of their balance sheet. In terms of risks, while not detailed in this specific snippet, institutions like FHLB Atlanta are always exposed to interest rate risk. If rates move unfavorably, the value of their assets could decline, impacting profitability. They are also subject to credit risk, though their membership typically consists of well-capitalized financial institutions, which mitigates some of that. However, the consistent dividend payout suggests they are navigating these risks successfully for this reporting period. Looking at the company's direction, FHLB Atlanta, as a long-standing institution, is focused on its mission. Its strength lies in its established network and its critical role in supporting housing finance. The recent dividend declaration signals a commitment to returning value to its members, which is a key driver of its success. Opportunities likely lie in adapting to evolving housing market needs and potentially expanding services to members. In conclusion, the Federal Home Loan Bank of Atlanta is showing signs of financial strength and strategic stability in its latest report. The substantial dividend declared is a clear indicator of profitability and effective management. While specific financial figures would provide a deeper dive, the information available paints a positive picture of their operational health and their commitment to supporting the housing finance sector. It is a solid performance that benefits not just the bank, but also its member institutions and, ultimately, the broader economy. Alright, that is our breakdown of the Federal Home Loan Bank of Atlanta's latest filing. What is your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.